What it do, cuckolds? It's your boy, the hater. Got a new mic. You know what I'm saying? So let me know if the audio sounds better than usual, you know? I'm still tweaking around with it. So, you know, it's going to get better and better. The hater's production value is going to get better and better. Cuckolds! Anyways, let's get to the story at hand, or to the video at hand, I should say, right? So the only thing that people are abuzz about now, it feels like, is just The Rock's absence from WrestleMania. Now, obviously, the hater has talked about this extensively. The hater has predicted all of this would happen, and, you know, this is a very important part of the year, being that it's WrestleMania, but also being that it's, like, the time when people like The Rock show up. Like, there's, like, 2 of those times a year. Like, now, usually around SummerSlam, you know, and then after that, like, The Rock is not even a presence in WWE, you know? So, well, you could make the argument that he's not a presence now, but, you know, here we are, right? Now, in this discussion, right, like, nobody is taking any accountability. And I understand. We live in a day and age where people don't take accountability. We live in a day and age where everybody's a little bit soft and they can't handle criticism. The Rock included, you know what I mean? Like, but that's neither here nor there, you know? Whether you can take criticism or not, whether you even are accountable to yourself or, quote-unquote, to the fans, because they don't really owe anything to the fans. Like, The Rock doesn't owe the fans his time or his presence or to do what they want. Like, I get that he's a human being, could do whatever the hell he wants. But, motherfucks, here's the thing, right? Whether or not The Rock owes the fans something, right? He, at the very least, right, the lowest standard of care is that he and the WWE don't fist us, right? That's all that I think we want, is not to be fisted. You know, I don't care if The Rock shows up at Mania or doesn't, right? I don't care, because I know he's not going to do anything special. He's not going to do anything that I haven't seen before, right? He's going to come out, do his, like, modern day shtick, you know, which is a mixture of his old day shtick and, like, just him being more serious and more greasy. You know, he's always, like, oiled up and shit. Like, it's a little weird, you know? And he's wearing all these, like, flashy clothes, which was his thing, but it was a bit more muted back in the day. Like, The Rock coming out with the $500 shirt. You know, the shirt was expensive, but everything else was, like, normal. He would wear, like, a $500 shirt and, like, you know, Adidas track pants, right? And, like, sunglasses. Now he's, like, all oiled up, like, you know, he's got his eyebrows done, and it's like he's barely the same guy. But anyways, neither here nor there, you know. Get your eyebrows done, bro. Do what you want. You know, if you want to groom your ball sack, go ahead, dog. You want to wax your bag? Go ahead. But that's neither here nor there. All I want, and I think all most fans want, is for us not to be fisted. We don't want the WWE's fist, like the SmackDown fist. Remember the SmackDown fist? We don't want that shoved up and down our asses. That's all we want, right? So, I don't care, for example, that The Rock didn't show up, right? I also don't care that Kane didn't show up. I don't care that The Undertaker player didn't show up, right? It's not their time anymore. It's perfectly reasonable for them not to show up, right? I also don't care that Triple H, as far as I remember, didn't show up. He may have showed up on night 1 because I tuned in a little bit late on both nights. You know, maybe he opened up the show by saying, "Are you ready?" You know, which is like, enough, bro. Enough self-promotion. Like, you're Triple H, motherfucker. You're Triple H. Like, your legacy is Triple H the wrestler, right? Maybe he's having a midlife crisis, and he's like, now I want to be known as Triple H the Booker. Shut the fuck up. It's never going to happen, bro. You're never going to be Vince, you know? And I don't even mean that insultingly. It's like, nobody's going to be Vince. Not him, not Dana White, not me, not you, not nobody, right? Vince is Vince. There can only be one, motherfuckers. So with that being said, also, did anyone notice how AJ Styles has a shirt that says, there can only be one, which is one of my, like, C-list C-level catchphrases. However, obviously, like, I'm not saying he stole it from me because it's a very common phrase, but you understand what I'm getting at. Cuts. The point is, you know, like I said, we don't want to get fisted, right? So if, for example, you advertise something, right? In every WWE event, if you look at, like, the ticket or the advertisement for it, there's a little asterisk on the bottom that says, card subject to change. Of course, right? You know, you expect to see Rey Mysterio, but unfortunately, Rey Mysterio gets injured, so you don't get Rey Mysterio, right? It's understandable. These are human beings, and it's a live event. So, like, we can't guarantee that we're going to do what we said we're going to do. Completely fine. I completely understand that. You know, shit happens, make a pivot, right? But this doesn't mean that the WWE should take advantage of that, right? In fact, they really don't. They almost never take advantage of it. If they advertise something, you're pretty much guaranteed to have it served up to you, right? Like, if they advertise, for example, John Cena versus The Rock at WrestleMania in New Jersey and New York, right? you're probably going to get it. You know, they're going to work hard to make sure that they're not the people that change the card on your bitch ass, right? Completely understandable. And as I said, I also understand that sometimes shit happens, right? Sometimes it could be something as petty as someone being like, I don't want to job to him, you know, like Stone Cold did. I don't want to job to Brock Lesnar. All right, he's not going to be on the card anymore. You know, we had the plan, it didn't work out. It could be something serious or semi-serious, thank God. Like Rey Mysterio getting hurt. I don't think he's that hurt. Or it could be something even more serious, like, you know, fucking Benoit murders his entire family and we have to cancel the whole show. And if you were expecting to go to watch the Monday Night Raw, you're not going to see it because they're going to cancel it. You know what I mean? Shit's going to go down. But the problem is, don't falsely advertise to trick me, right? There's nothing wrong with advertising in good faith and then not being able to live up to it, right? We all make mistakes, right? For example, remember that guy, like Billy, whatever his name is, the Fire Festival guy? Like, they put him in prison, you know, for fraud. Now, I understand, like, if you're someone that got screwed by that guy, you're not very happy. I get it, right? But I really, personally, I really believe that the guy was just way in over his head, right? He didn't have the ability to pull through and set up that festival, and he just promised more than he could deliver. And he should be punished to some extent, right? But I don't think he morally is evil. Like, I don't think he tried to steal the money from these people. I think he just fucked it all up, right? He fucked up. He fell short. We don't care if you fall short. WWE falls short nearly every day, right? Like, every match that we see falls short. Every Gunther match falls short, you know? But that's okay. That's okay, motherfucks. As I said, all we want is to avoid the big fist, you know? The Count of Monte Fisto. We want to avoid the fist. That's all there is to it. So don't fist me by pretending to have a storyline in place, right? That's the problem that I have with it, right? It's like on Elimination Chamber, you would think, right? And I don't want to hear any kind of bullshit gaslighting. We all thought the same thing, right? Because here's the thing. You can say something explicitly or you can say something implicitly. And implicitly, what they told us at the Chamber was that John Cena has now sold his soul to The Rock, right? It wasn't presented as, oh, you know, this is an offer only for Cucky Rhodes, right? This is an offer for Cucky Rhodes that John Cena somehow took. That's the way that the storyline was presented. The Rock doing the little slit your throat, you know, hand gesture would imply, not even imply, it's explicit. It explicitly gives Cena the order to attack Cody Rhodes. Cena's looking at The Rock, basically waiting for the confirmation, waiting for the approval, right? So at some point, Cena and The Rock must have had some sort of correspondence, right? Now, here's the problem. You know, like, these are things that you could elaborate on in the, like, what, 7, 8 weeks, 6 weeks at least, that you had between Elimination Chamber and Mania. You should have elaborated on them. Now, it's fine. It's fine. If you want to take a pivot, let's say The Rock got a new role, or Travis Scott, you know, is going to go, like, do something unentertaining. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. They can't be there. You got to take a pivot. Maybe John Cena gets sick, God forbid. You got to pivot. But if you have to pivot, then pivot, motherfucks. That's the problem that I have. They didn't pivot. This is a bad faith build. You understand me? This was not something that, oh, they didn't know what they were doing. What happened here was they screwed the fans. They fisted the fans. They led the fans to believe that The Rock was going to be involved. Then The Rock wasn't involved. And then afterwards, they justify what happened. And when someone asks too many questions, they're like, oh, don't ask questions. Just get along with the ride. The ride sucks, motherfuckers. The ride sucks. Like, I promise you, if I weren't the hater at this point in my life, if I didn't have this YouTube channel and, you know, enjoy making the videos and talking shit, right? I would not be watching wrestling right now. This would be like a 2 to 3 year weaning off period where I'm like, fuck this shit. I have no interest in watching Otis get his ass kicked for the 100th Raw in a row. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, the booking is so bad. This is the worst WWE has been. I don't want to hear it in the early 90s. I didn't watch that shit in the early 90s. But so I guess I can't speak to it. I don't know enough about it. But I do know that when I started watching around 1997, right? From that point till now, this is the worst it's been. It's worse than like the general manager era. Remember, like, the Raw general manager era where they had like a new one every week? It's worse than that, you know? That was pretty bad, motherfuckers. But this is worse than that. The point here is this, right? They created a scenario, and this is like, you can extrapolate this from The Rock's own words, right? Like I said yesterday, Ari Emanuel calls. He's like, shit, we're not selling tickets. Now, in order to sell tickets, you can take one of two approaches, right? You can take an honest approach, right? a hard-working approach that says, all right, we're not selling any tickets. Maybe we cut like 2 or 3 Slim Jim advertisements and we use that opportunity every week to tell a story about, let's say, The Miz, right? Or let's say Karrion Kross. Everyone's on his nuts now because he cut that shoot promo, right? Which is the same thing as a CM Punk promo. Like, we need to have higher standards, by the way, motherfucker. Like, the Karrion Kross promo, it was impassioned. He did a good job delivering it. But the problem is, he didn't say anything new. He basically said, I'm a disgruntled employee. It's like, yeah, Kevin Owens has cut the same promo. I will concede. Karrion Kross cut it better than Kevin Owens, but that's not a high bar. Like, Kevin Owens doesn't know what the fuck he's doing on the microphone. Like, he's been painted as this guy that's great on the mic. He absolutely is not. You've been tricked into thinking that he's good on the mic. Remember when he was with Jericho, and Jericho had to like carry Kevin Owens like every single week? Kevin Owens would like just botch his promos, get caught up in his own words. There was that one time when he like pretends to get frustrated because he forgets his lines, gives it to Jericho, who like completely saves the day. You know? Like, so Karrion Kross, good promo, but like, I'm tired of this, like, I did what I'm supposed to do. I deserve things. No, you don't, motherfuckers. This is like what's wrong with society. And I understand this is just obviously a work, but it doesn't matter, right? The character of Karrion Kross is now that he's a whiny bitch, right? He's like, I worked hard. Why aren't I the world champion? Because that's not how it works, motherfuckers. You have to work hard and you have to be good, right? And as we've established in this channel many times, he's not good, right? So like, it doesn't, like, if he works hard, he's going to get a different result than if Christian Cage works hard, right? Or at least he should get a different result, right? Because one is more talented than the other, right? If he works hard, he's going to get a lesser result than if LA Knight works hard, because one is better than the other, right? Simple as that. I'm sure they all work hard, right? You don't think Jimmy Uso works hard, right? But his brother's better, so he gets the rub. Anyways, that's not neither here nor there. We're not talking about Karrion Kross in this video, motherfucks. The point here is this, right? They advertised one thing and they didn't deliver. Now, they didn't deliver not because they couldn't, right? They didn't deliver because that was never the plan. These were basically, like I said, there's one side of the coin where you can, push forward a better product and this will sell tickets, right? You can make things well and they'll sell better, right? You can make the table a little bit better and more people are going to buy your table, right? You can make the show a bit more fun and more people are going to watch and talk about it. This is just common sense, right? But why do this when you can just pull the rug up from under the fans' feet, right? That's what they did. They basically said, oh, trust us, bro. This WrestleMania is going to be epic. Like, we're going to have The Rock there, right? Yes, they didn't explicitly say that. But the fact is what the fact is. They implied it heavily by The Rock's involvement, which had no bearing on the storyline. Has anyone ever watched the movie Matchstick Men with Nicolas Cage, where he's like this con artist, and I think he has like Tourette's, and the Tourette's has like no bearing on the movie whatsoever. It's just there just to make him quirky, I guess, Like, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about, where they just put something in for no reason at all, right? That's what they did with The Rock. They just put him in there, no reason at all, and then like there was no payoff. But we expected one. Not me. I gave up on this shit immediately, right? I wouldn't even care if there was a payoff. Because, like, even a payoff wouldn't change the fact that this was the worst feud of all time. The worst WrestleMania build of all time by far, right? Now, it doesn't matter, right? The point is, they tricked you. There are fans that do care, if The Rock is there. I'm sure there's a few tickets that were sold to WrestleMania specifically because, some people thought they were going to see The Rock. Oh, hater, someone else would have bought the tickets. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It's called market equilibrium. The more demand there is, the higher the price goes. Look it up, cucks. Economics 101, motherfuckers. Anyways, the point is, they told us through implication that The Rock was going to be there. And then they rammed their fist up our ass, right? And now people are like, wait a second. My ass hurts. It feels like someone has fisted me up my ass. And they're like, nah. Dude, you were fisted, but deal with it. This is part of the ride, right? This is just justifications for people not being good at their jobs, right? Can you imagine, like, how Vince McMahon feels right now? He must be losing his fucking mind, man. Can you imagine, like, building something as amazing as the WWE from nothing, right? Basically inventing a new medium. Oh, I think Dusty Rhodes invented it in Southwestern Georgia wrestling. Shut your mouths. Vince McMahon made wrestling as we know it today, right? He must be killing himself with what his company has turned into. It's a bunch of dorks. Now, Triple H, I will admit, he's not a dork, obviously. Triple H is a cool guy. Like, he's not a good booker, but he absolutely is a cool guy. Triple H, you can make the argument that he's one of the coolest people of all time. I mean, like, if we're being honest, right? He's right up there, in terms of coolness. He was never, like, that good, like as a wrestler, compared to his cohort, like obviously, I think we all know if Triple H debuted tonight, like as a wrestler, he would get like the Brock Lesnar treatment. You know what I mean? He would be like the number one guy. Undoubtedly, we would all think he's the number one guy because the standards are so low. Like, if you compare Triple H to like, Trick Williams or Tony D'Angelo or Obafemi, it's like clearly Triple H is like 100 times better than these guys. But he wasn't 100 times better than The Rock or Stone Cold, or arguably even The Undertaker player, or even Kane. But the point is, right, Triple H is not a dork, but he's way in over his head, right? He's like the guy from Firefest, right? He's way in over his head. The other people that are involved are dorks. They have no idea what they're doing. It's a bunch of these like TV executives, right? Like Lee Fitting, fucking, what's the guy? Tony Khan, not Tony Khan, the other Khan. Him, Ari Emanuel. These are like TV guys. They're entertainment guys, but they've never made like edgy entertainment. They make a run-of-the-mill, middle of the lane entertainment. It's like when you throw a bowling ball and you hit like 7 pins. That's what they're doing. They're not throwing strikes out there like Vince was or Vince Russo was. Throwing strikes is what we need, motherfuckers. They know the tricks. They know how to sell a few tickets at the expense of prostitution, right? They know that they can just say like, oh, shit, SummerSlam isn't selling? Throw The Rock in there. It'll sell a few more tickets, right? Then The Rock doesn't show up and people are like, they got us again, right? That's kind of how it works in wrestling. Like the fans have accepted the argument of, they got us again, right? Like, you know what I mean? When something doesn't happen that you expect to happen, right? I don't mean storyline wise. I mean like booking and logical decision making wise, right? There's this like idea where the fans just say like, there it is. They got us again. They got us again. They tricked us again. Wow, we fell for it. They worked us, right? There's a work and then there's a lie, motherfucks, right? This is not a lie to the point that it would rise to a level of, false advertising, but it nevertheless is a lie. They told us that The Rock was going to be involved. Hell, they told us that The Rock and Travis Scott were going to be involved in the storyline, right? And they weren't. Oh, Travis Scott showed up. He's not involved in the storyline, right? He didn't do anything. All that happened was Travis Scott came in and saved John Cena, or I guess helped John Cena, right? We still don't know why. We still don't know what his motivation is. We have no idea why he's even allowed to show up there with entrance music, right? Like, what the fuck? This has to be explained, right? Can any rapper in the world just show up, play their theme song, and walk to the ring and interfere? Why didn't someone from wrestling come and just throw this guy through a table, right? Like Drew Carey, who was like a massive celebrity back in the day, right? He came in and Kane would like chase him around, being like, what the fuck are you doing here? Travis Scott's allowed to just go there, take the main event spot, basically, and do as he pleases, and we don't even, like, deserve to be told why? We don't deserve it, motherfucks. Just get along for the ride. Just be stupid. Just sit there like a moron with your mouth open, and then be like, oh shit, it's Travis Scott. Wow, I'm so privileged to see this. Fuck Travis Scott. What do you think of them apples? Little twerp? Little 115-pound jabron? The fuck's this guy gonna do? It's almost laughable. Like Triple H afterwards was like, oh, this guy, like, he loves wrestling. I don't care if he loves wrestling. I don't care if Bad Bunny loves wrestling. I beat the shit out of both of them in 3 seconds, right? And then I'm supposed to believe that Bad Bunny, who I would destroy in 2 seconds, and Travis Scott, who I would destroy in 3 seconds, that Bad Bunny can beat up Damian Priest? Like, I'm supposed to just believe this? I get it. He makes some music. Chambeon, Alan. I even like some of his shit. You know what I'm saying? If I'm being honest. I like Bad Bunny. I respect him, even for coming to wrestling and trying to learn the moves. But come on, you don't get to jump the gun. It's like Damian Priest got his ass beat by Bad Bunny, and now I'm supposed to believe he's a credible threat to Drew McIntyre? Like, if Drew McIntyre, like, had to fight, like, 100 Travis Scotts, he would kill them all, motherfucks. Like, it's like, we can't live in this fantasy reality where the celebrity just gets, a boost, and everyone's like, damn, got it, right? So, wrestling is turning into something sinister. And I don't mean, sinister is a hard word, but you know what I mean? Into something disgusting. Into something stupid as fuck. At this point, might as well just do it. Just set it up now, cucks. 1 year in advance. Bad Bunny versus Travis Scott. Dildo on a pole match while you're at it. You know what I mean? Get the fuck out of here. And this is the problem, motherfucks. People like Vince McMahon have worked hard to legitimately, this is insane, to legitimately legitimize something completely retarded, which is fake fights in front of a live audience. Do you understand How crazy that is? Anyways, that's another video. Take care, cucks!